It's Michelle Frost again from Mission Mojo, and welcome back to part 2 of our MailChimp tutorials. Today we're going to talk just a little bit about what goes on inside MailChimp and just give you a little bit of orientation so that you're not too confused by the terminology they use in here, although it's quite self-explanatory really. Now when we left off last time, we had created the account. We'd confirmed that we are not robots and we're actually humans, and now it's time to actually set up the account. So if we look in here, I wanted to tell you that a list is, well, it's just, as it says, a list is a collection of names and email addresses. So these are the people that you're going to be emailing in the future in some way, shape or form. So that's what a list is. And then you have a campaign, and a campaign is basically the emails that you're going to send out. That's what they mean by a campaign. And then there's some detail here about creating those forms. And when they say forms, they're talking about things like these here that I showed you on my website in the last video. And then there's a whole bunch of other things down here which we won't go into right now because it might just confuse you, and it isn't actually necessary right now. We will also talk about creating templates, probably not in this video, but perhaps in the next one, because they're a very powerful thing that you can do in here which will save you a lot of time. The first thing you need to do is create a list. So this is where people are going to be sent to. So you hit create a list and you hold your breath. Oh look, we have no list. So what do we want to do? We want to create a list, and they're very helpfully given us this nice big blue arrow pointed there. Now we need a name for the list. So I'll just fill this detail out and I'll come back and explain it to you rather than you having to watch my very slow typing. So I'll be back with you in a tick. Here we go, list is now filled out. I've put the content in. I've called my list the Content Mojo Challenge, and if you have a look here, MailChimp give you some advice that this is actually something that your subscribers will see. So making it something that makes some sense to them is a good idea. And then the email address that you want it to appear to come from. So one of yours, your business one, would be a great idea. Again, the name. So this is the name that will come in when an email goes out to your clients or your customers. It will appear to come from Michelle, and it will say Michelle at Mission Mojo. I've just chosen to use that style. I could say Michelle Frost, or I could say Mission Mojo, or something else. It's up to me. But obviously, again, you would want to make sure that it's something that your customers, your clients, people on the list are going to recognize. So there's that one. And this one down here is actually something quite interesting. So this is what will sit at the bottom of the emails. So it reminds people why they're even getting this email in the first place. It's at the bottom of all the emails that MailChimp will send gives people the ability to just click a link and instantly unsubscribe from your list, which is really important, and it's important for the anti-can spam authorities all around the world. So if you have a little note like this that you have to put down at the bottom of all of the emails that go out, which actually reminds people of why they're on the list in the first place, then those who are thinking about unsubscribing because they have no idea why they're even getting this information, this is just like a little memory jogger for them. So you can put in here whatever you like, or something though that will remind them, why they're getting it and why they want to get it. So it's up to you what you put in there, but think about it in those terms. Again, this is the contact information, and that's come through from when we put it in when we were doing the setup process. You can actually come and edit this at any time, so don't worry if you're not really sure, and you just put something that you think will work for now, and then if you need to later, you can come and edit it. And this will be for each individual list. So as you can imagine, you'll have a list for one thing, then you might have a list for something else inside the same account, MailChimp account. But where they signed up to that list, for example, may not be the same place, and you may need to put different things in here. Now you can get a notification from MailChimp as well, so daily, one by one, when they're subscribing and unsubscribing. That's entirely up to you. So I'm going to leave that blank for now. I'm getting plenty of emails. And I hit save. It goes off and does its little thinking. Oh, and look, it didn't like this. So there's something that you have just seen. I wasn't able to use the @ symbol, but I assume I can just use AT instead. And yes, I was able to. So that's pretty cool. Now we're inside. Obviously, you have no subscribers. We've created a list. We've given it, a little bit of the background for the list and what people, may see in the emails that get sent out. What we want to do is import. Now, this is the whole idea of this form over here on this website, is that people will put their details in there, then they'll automatically be sent over and fill up this list, which currently has no one in it. But the other thing you might do, you might already start with, is a list that you already have, either on another email provider, or maybe you've collected it in the old-fashioned way and you have them, say, in your Outlook program or somewhere else. So anywhere where you have them where it's digital, if you can turn it into a spreadsheet, not unlike this that you can see here, then it's a very easy process to manually put them into your list inside MailChimp. Of course, you could also create a spreadsheet like this and type them in if you just have them in the old-fashioned way. Now, as you can see here, I've created 4. This is obviously a dummy spreadsheet. These people don't really exist, and this is just for the purposes of this demonstration. And I've created 4 columns, including city, because I wanted to show you what you can do with an extra one that's sort of outside the norm of name and email address. So I'm just going to copy those. So I'm just copying those 4 different contacts, and I'm going to take them over here, and I'm going to click on the import subscribers. And if you watch, it'll say, okay, so you can either, I could have actually dragged the whole sheet across. I don't want to do that necessarily. I find it's actually easier to just do this. Hit copy and paste from a file, and then, hit click next down the bottom, the very bottom right hand corner. It's sitting, and I can just go paste. So I'll just paste that information that I just copied. Hopefully, maybe. Yep, there we go. So there they are. So reading this is important. I understand that my billing plan may be automatically upgraded. So that's if you adding more than the 2,000, for example. So you click next. Now, this is the clever bit. So it's realized that there are 4 distinct different columns that I have pasted in there, and it wants me to now tell them what these are. So here, it's make a selection. Well, this is actually a first name. So I'm telling MailChimp this is a first name, so that's great. It's actually not sure what this one is. Hold on, we click save. So it's not sure what this next one is. So it's like, well, what is it? Okay, so this one is a last name. Yep, so we save. And we come over, so it's obviously recognized the email addresses. I assume the @ symbol are a bit of a giveaway. Again, I will click save. And then this last one, I can choose any of a number of things here. New column names. So this is actually, we type in city, and for some reason I might actually want to use city. I don't know why, but lots of people do. If later on I could say, well, actually I only want people who live in Dodge City to get this email, and say, 10% of the people in this list actually are in Dodge City, then they would all get the email to say that I'm about to be in Dodge City to run a workshop or something. So that's sort of a real life example of why I might want to be able to put a field in like that. So you've got, you can do whatever you like there. It's quite open to do whatever you like. So then we hit next. And it says, okay, so you're copying over these things. That's great. And that they're all going to be in as regular subscribers. Yes. So we import. And hold my breath for a minute. And here we go. So this is just telling us we can use the search function in order to search the various subscribers as well. So if you had a really big list, you could use that in order to search. So here they are here. I won't go into a big lot of detail here. You just need to make sure that you have permission to put people's names in. You can't, and you shouldn't, just go and grab email addresses and names from databases and things like that, unless they have, you have permission to use them and put them into your email program like MailChimp. So there's sort of the statistics of the rules around what you are and are not allowed to do. And there are a few more if you want to educate yourself. However, that's how you can get people into your list in it's sort of a manual way. You can also just type them in as well, I believe. So again, you would just go back to lists and go add subscribers, and then you could type them in, although I find it much easier to do that sort of copy and paste. So here it's got quickly add a subscriber, and obviously it's very useful, very clever, I should say, MailChimp. It gives you lots of pointers along the way. So if I click add, there you go. So I can manually just add a subscriber. And interestingly, it's added that city field that we put in earlier. So that's pretty cool. And you click the yes, that, as I was saying before, the person's given you permission to be put on the list. All right, so we'll cancel that because I don't want to add anyone else. Okay, let's get a web form of some sort created so that you can start getting subscribers to automatically sign up to this new list of yours. Now, we come down here, it says sign up forms. We click it, and you've got all these other options once you get in here. A lot of them you won't need at the moment, and you can go and play at your heart's content. MailChimp has quite a few tutorials available, so if you look for those in Google or even just in the help section of MailChimp, you'll be able to find them. But just to give you a very general overview, I've already gone in and done a little bit of fiddling around in order to put my details in here. So this is just a general sign up form. Now what we're doing here is creating a form that will live on the MailChimp website that you can direct people to, and you can use it by this URL here. So I'll just show you by copying it, and I'll paste it into a new tab. Go paste and hit return, and as you see, this is the form that I'm in the middle of creating. Now I'll just pop back here, and it might be something you want to share on Facebook or Twitter, or you might want to email it out to people, even if you have an email list that you want to get on another email list. Now it gives you a whole bunch of areas that you can edit. Anywhere where you see edit, you can edit. You can drag these fields up and down if you like. I'm actually going to remove the city one. I don't need that anymore. MailChimp makes you do capital delete, and there. And I actually generally only ask people for their first name, don't necessarily need their last name. So I'm going to delete that as well, because the least friction we can create when it comes to people giving us their details, the better. So there we go. So that's like my very basic form. I've put in this here. You'll be able to do all of that yourself. When you come along, you can grab other things to ask for if you want to. If you want to change the design at all, you can do that in here. Each time you click one of these areas, you're able to change the color and that kind of thing in here, and then you would click here and you can change the color. So I'll let you fiddle with that. There's not much point me fiddling with that too much, because actually I don't use that form. So but that is an ability that you have. You'll be able to come in and you can fiddle with that and edit it as much as you like, and then use this URL to get people to sign up, or wherever you put that URL on the web. Now what is important in here, however, is the some of the text on, say, the confirmation email, and perhaps the sign up thank you page. Again, sometimes you have control over where people go after they, their first hit enter on a form on your website. Sometimes the plugin or whatever that you use that connects with MailChimp gives you the ability to create different things in there rather than using this one. But it is definitely worth going in and having a look and editing it until it's the way you want it. So I have come in here and it automatically puts my logo in there because I put it in another section inside this area, and it populates it through the whole lot. But I've also added this F name is just a code that MailChimp use. Wherever you put it, the first name of the person will be put in there. So when they sign up the form, after that, every time I've referred to use this F name, MailChimp goes and grabs their first name and puts it in there instead. So I have actually edited that in here, and I've also edited by putting the word challenge and a few other things in here in order to make it more along the lines of what I'm doing, rather than just a straight subscribing to, say, a newsletter. And the same with the confirmation email. I've gone in and edited it so that it has the first name and some things to do with the Content Mojo Challenge. And I have done the same thing to the other ones here as well, including probably one of the more important ones is this final welcome email, because it's one that will go out from MailChimp, and you want to make sure that it contains anything that you need people to know, including, say, if you're selling an ebook or something like that, you might want the link in here just in case people weren't sent there automatically after they signed up or after they paid at PayPal or whatever. So it's kind of a good place for you to put things in where you need people to do something in particular after they've given you their email address. Now, in this instance, what we really want people to do is head over to the Facebook group, because that's where we're going to be controlling the challenge. So it's kind of important that they join the Facebook group. So I'm putting it in as many places as possible once they've signed up and confirmed their email addresses, so that they do end up coming and joining the Facebook group and participating in the challenge. So that's something I wanted to show you. That's one way to create a sign-up form. And I would suggest, as I said, to go through and just create at least the emails and those thank you pages, just in case when you finally get around to creating the form on your website, depending on how you choose to do it, that you will have the ability to use those here on MailChimp as well. Now, these embedded forms, this is how a lot of people would create a form that they then put on their website in order for your people to subscribe. Again, you go through the process of editing it and making it look the way you want. These tend to be very basic ones. You've got the classic style, you've got the super slim, horizontal, that kind of thing. I'm, again, not using this because I'm using a plugin on my website, which I would probably suggest that you do as well. But if you were using this and you wanted just this really simple one, you can edit the wording here. It'll pop over there, and then you copy the code here and you paste it onto your website into a HTML section, which may be getting just a little bit too complicated for you, but it is important that you know that that ability is there. So I'll flick back to the list again and show you. You can also do the pop-up one, which a lot of people do, and then there's a bit of integration stuff going on here. Now I'll pause the video so that I can pop into the back end of my website, and I'll show you how I put a form onto my website so that you can see what I do. I won't be a tick. Actually, what I'm going to do is stop this video here and start a new video so that you can see how we use the API integration on websites in a whole new video. That's probably the best way to go. So I will talk to you shortly in the third video.